What's up, everybody? Welcome back. In our last video, we had our epic fight with the Pursuer. So we had discovered this tracking device on board the Argo that the Pursuer was using to find us more easily. And rather than destroying that, we decided to use that device to lure the Pursuer into a trap so we could ambush him. We got a Wise Providence boon going into that fight. And that ultimately led to us being able to kill the Pursuer. Kill in quotations because he is not quite dead. And before, so we had a little story passage that we were going to read off there. But before I get into that, like that one thing that I realized when I was going back and rewatching that fight this morning before posting the video on YouTube, it was so wild how we had that sequence where like Phylacteria was getting attacked by the signature, and then she pulls the heroic death major trauma, and she gets one chance to attack and she just whiffs it. She crit misses, which causes her to suffer knockdown and get a labyrinth tile. And then we have our awakening roll. She rolls a 10 on that and she awakens into Zeus. And it's so cool that we have been able to get 2 awakenings on camera so far. Like, we've only done, 3 fights that I think we've recorded on camera here. So to be able to get 2 awakenings already, it's fun because it shows something that is this, like, why this game is so beloved. Because like when you have these high highs, when you have those moments where you think that all is lost, you're about to get completely screwed, you have these moments where it's like you just rolled just what you needed to. You may have not been rolling very well for most of the battle, but hey, you got this one roll here, and it saves you, and it is just epic, and I love it. And we definitely did experience some low lows in that fight as well. We missed on a lot of body parts when we were trying to wound, but hey, we still got it done. So let's jump over to our map view here, because that intro view is just kind of boring and bland. And a couple of things to clean up from yesterday's fight. So during that fight, I still have it out here actually. There was the BP card where we wounded and we got this vulture mask. I had re-rolled the red die twice, basically. So I had gone through the fight. I was like, oh, actually I should have, I realized I had 2 power re-rolls. I should have just re-rolled the black die by itself, but instead I re-rolled both the red and the black die after having already re-rolled the red die. So I think to account for some of that, I think what I'd like to do is subtract a Sisyphus tier from our Argo cargo. So let's go down here. So Sisyphus tiers, I don't know if I've explained these, but they are resources that allow you to redo a fight, mulligan a fight. So if you go into a fight and the outcome is not what you wanted, then you can use a Sisyphus tier to just set everything back to the way you had it before. Kind of hard to do sometimes if you're not recording. With the recordings, it can be easier because I can go back and look at it if I wanted to. But I've had situations in the past where I wanted to use a Sisyphus tier and I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to kind of guess at what I had before. So anyway, we're going to subtract a Sisyphus tier here because we shouldn't really have wounded that BP card. I think ultimately it kind of made the fight harder for us, because another thing I need to clarify is that, so the crit, that was a card that I critted, and so the crit reward was getting this vulture mask. And the conclusion that I made was that, I think I can temporarily exceed the slots, the normal slots for the rest of the battle. And I just added this accessory into Ulysses' loadout here. The real ruling is that it should actually just go onto the Argo, and if I wanted to have kept it, then I would have had to get rid of another gear. However, I would not have wanted to keep it because I would have been like, no, screw this thing. This can just go sit on the Argo because it had this ability where you disable the toying pursuer trait. So yeah, that made the fight significantly harder for us from that point on, because His attacks were hitting a lot harder. He ended up being able to do his signature after his attacks during the primordial round. So, you know, I think some of that stuff kind of evens out. I'm still happy to lose that Sisyphus tier just to kind of balance it out a little bit more. But I think it was also interesting to be able to show the difference of a toying pursuer versus a not toying pursuer and what we are about to be experiencing soon. Additionally, because I awakened, I'm going to have to put the pursuer miniature here, the mini, not the normal mini, on the map. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll go ahead and put it here. And the reasoning is that, during those awakenings, you have that adversary symbol. Let me see if I can actually, is that trauma still? No, I had to shuffle that back in. Okay, here we go. Excuse me, let me put this here. Let's just show this on camera. I'm actually showing it on camera so I can also just double check myself too. Ooh, the exposure on that is pretty high. Let me adjust that really quickly. What if we bring that down to like 40, maybe even 35? Yeah, that seems legible now. Okay, let's roll with that. So yeah, we have this adversary activation symbol down here, and going into that fight, when the pursuer came and attacked the ship, he got moved to the same map tile that our Argo is on, triggering a battle. Moving into the same Argo tile, or the same map tile as our Argo, effectively then immediately removed him from the map, and because he was removed from the map, getting one adversary activation symbol on like basically any game element that's not the exploration cards, just one symbol results in the adversary spawning. So we may be facing the pursuer again soon, so I will be keeping that in mind and keeping 4 Titans reserved for him, because the next few times we face him, those fights may end up just turning into, that's okay, you can just sacrifice these Titans. So we'll see how that goes. If we end up having to face him a lot before I feel like I'm ready to actually take him on, at least the first fight, I'll record that. But then we might get to a point where we're just saying like, hey, I don't feel like doing this fight. I'll just accept that I'm going to lose. And we'll do some kind of like house ruling for like, all right, we lose 4 Titans, and then maybe we'll roll a die to see how many wounds we think we would have gotten. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll see if I can find some good rules on the Discord channel for that. So let's see, what else? Were there any other things I had to go back and fix from the fight before we go into our story bits? We have the Argo Fate, so we should have subtracted Argo Fate, but we're already at 0, so that doesn't really matter. And we have to kill our Titan. We lost Herodotus during the fight yesterday, and Herodotus is actually the Titan that has the harsh conditioning pattern. So we need to go to our Argo Titan Stoa. Where am I looking? Titans. And we're looking for harsh conditioning. Okay, so that was Kairos that we lost. So thank you for your service, Kairos. You helped us to defeat the pursuer. And now that means, let's go back to our full view here. Now that means we don't have a Titan that is using this harsh conditioning pattern. That's a shame, because that's a nice pattern. I do like that one. Okay. Those things done, I think we're ready to go back and read the little bit of story that we uncovered from killing the pursuer. See 0201 in the cycle 1 main story. Give me a moment while I find that. Okay, here we go. 0201. With an enthusiastic roar, you deal the killing blow. The Hermesian pursuer hits the ground with the audible sound of bones breaking, its torn wings flapping about like fish thrown onto the ship's deck, until they finally rest motionless, like a death shroud. This monster has caused you so much pain, and brought the Argo so much misery. After you faced it the first time, you believed beating it was impossible. Now you stand triumphant. Yet you still feel the hair on your neck tingling and your hearts refuse to settle. What's happening? Is it not over? One moment, the pursuer is lying, lifeless on the ground. The next, it breaks into a run, not to face you, to escape. You give pursuit. Its wings shattered, there's nowhere it can go. You just need to stay on it. Before your eyes, two slits split the creature's back, and a third pair of wings emerges, large and so thin they're almost translucent. In a flash, the primordial is in the air and out of your reach. Anger mixes with frustration. Keep on it! You bark as soon as you emerge from the Balinonian. Wherever it's heading, it will need time to heal. We'll face it in its lair and put an end to this monstrous pursuit. Ooh. Yeah, in retrospect, I really feel like I shouldn't have told you folks ahead of time that killing it the first time is not going to be the end of it. Shoot. Oh, well, I apologize for that. That would have been a more fun thing to find out through this story. But not too big of a deal. I mean, I think we've found from other primordials too that like when we're killing them, somehow they're coming back. Okay, so we have some bit of instruction here. The pursuer is wounded and needs time to recuperate. Now you know where its lair is. From now on, you may add the pursuit's end battle to the timeline, 4 days from your current day. You can do it now or later. If you add the pursuit's end battle to the timeline and the Hermesian pursuer is on the map, remove it. If the pursuit's end battle is on the timeline, you have to fight it. You cannot back out. Also remember, from now on, no more games. During pursuer battles in the current cycle, disable the toying trait and use victory conditions, no more games. Put a mark by its battle track to note this. I believe we did that yesterday already. Let's go to Argo, then let's go to, where are we at? Evolution. Yes, we did. Put a marker next to its battle track to note this. Do not read the pursuit's end battle section before you enter the battle. You are walking in blind. So I have done that battle before, but it's been a while. So I don't really remember anything about it, I don't think. And the things that I think I remember, they're probably wrong. So cool. So we have chased the pursuer away, although he's now coming back after us because we had that awakening during the battle. So that's fun. Then let's see here. The other thing that we need to do, because we got an Argo knowledge during that fight, or no, I'm sorry, as a reward from that fight, we can now immediately read our next Inwards Odyssey. A bit fitting that the thing that initiated that fight for us was an Inwards Odyssey, and now we are capping it off with an Inwards Odyssey. This is 16, I think we need to read correct. Yes, 16. Fire in the depths. The Argo comes to a full stop, a wall of thick black smoke soaring before it and stretching for many miles in both directions. The water at the base of this fuming barrier is as black as night, thick and sticky like tar, but it bubbles and radiates intense heat. Divers tell impossible tales of fire beneath the waves going all the way down to the bottom of the sea, a black fire that no amount of water can quench, a raging fire that consumes stones as sure as wood. There is something down there, that much you are sure of. The scholars of the last academy have been creating speculative maps of the sea floor ever since you discovered that giant petrified tree forest a while back. This was marked as a possible location for another such forest. You decide to take a look, to dive as titans which are known to endure the elements far harsher than any mortal could. But before you have time to don the giant bodies through Triskelion Junction, you are informed the Argo has a visitor. A creature with distinctly feminine features, but hair of cascading water. A nymph. When you walk down to the trade fleet dock, you find her inspecting the titans you've prepared for diving with exaggerated concern. I hope you weren't thinking of swimming down there, she says, not even sparing you a look. Haven't these poor creatures suffered enough? You get straight to the point. Are you responsible for the flaming sea? Am I? The nymph bursts out laughing, clearly amused by the notion, then suddenly stops and turns her giant, fully black alien eyes towards you. Are you mocking me, Argonauts? You look at each other. No. Good. Keep to the shallows, or better yet, stay on land. The great sea and the greater ocean are no places for mortals. You've heard this rhetoric before, from the gods and their cults. Know your place. The world has changed and you won't be kept down by anyone. We'll take our chances. The nymph looks at you, puzzled, then laughs again. Good, and I will be there to witness it all. But for the sake of these poor souls you ride like pack mules, do not try it today. This forest will burn itself to cinder any moment now, and then there will be nothing left but blackness and death. She turns on her heel, and without another word, jumps into the water. You swear her body just dissipates as if it was made of salt. You consider diving in the petrified forest anyway, but then the sea begins to expel its dead. Fish, dolphins, whales, blackened, burned to a crisp. Even mighty sirens, their impregnable shells charred and made as brittle as dried up leaves. Even a titan could not withstand such an inferno. You decide to leave this mystery be. For now. Then we have the instruction, gain the Depth Nymph Summoning card. Secret Deck 3, card 31. Depth Nymph. All right. This is a tricky one for me to say. Where do I have these cards hidden at? Oh, I put them all the way over here. Oh, yeah, okay. Depths Nymph. Depths Nymph. Twister. All right. The Midnight Tide. Ooh, it's cool artwork. I'll never not say that for this game. Let me put it on camera here. Booster seat deployed. There we go. We have our Depths Nymph there. Let's get the full image. We have this woman in white, almost translucent hair, holding up an octopus stuck in a diving helmet, it looks like. And let's see, her ability. Depth Nymph, Midnight Tide. Requirements, any Titan has at least 4 Ambrosia tokens. And then for summoning, we spend 1 summoning charge and gain 6 Fate. Wow. As a group. And then we summon the Depth Nymph. Then we would do an adversary activation. And the effect is immediately remove all terrain tiles with the Ambrosia keyword and discard all Ambrosia tokens from all Titans. Ooh. Could be a good one for the Pursuer. I mean, we saw that he has Ambrosia pools on his map. And he deals Ambrosia during his attack, so we'll have to keep that in mind during our next Pursuer fight. Some of the these nymph abilities are really cool. Unfortunately, sometimes I just kind of forget about them too, just because during a battle there's already so much you're paying attention to. But yeah, we do have a couple of really good ones now. Before I think we did this one on video. We got the Solitude Nymph, which can allow us to ignore an AI card. Yeah, maybe that would have been good to use during that fight this past fight against the Pursuer, because that's probably the most intense battle we'll do during the story card. And I think after this story card, we'll probably expect to be able to get I always forget the name of it. Basically a reset of our god forms and our nymphs. Let's see, let's go to god forms and summons. And summons here, and we want to add our Depths Nymph. Okay. And yeah, right now we can only summon one nymph. Do we have a technology that would let us regain that summon? I think we do. Let's see, it'd probably be under structural here. Maybe it's a core one. I'm looking for priests because I'm sure the cost of it would be spending priests as a resource. They're usually good for being able to get. Oh, is this it? No, it's losing Maze Touched, which is also a good ability. Oh, maybe we don't. Huh. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look offline because I swear I have this. Yeah, okay. Did I just... It's called Nymph Adaton. Maybe this is a technology I just needed to... Like maybe I just didn't record it in Scribe here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. If we go to technology over here on the side, it should be in alphabetical order. Yeah, I don't see it on here. Do we still have a project in here? No. Yeah, because I think... so the requirement is that it came from Inwards Odyssey 3. This is exciting to put on YouTube. I should have paused it, but whatever. I'm committed to just having this on at this point. Let's see. Gain the Strange Alliance technology card. Yeah, the opposite side of this is Strange Alliance. And one summoning card, or one summoning charge. Okay. Oh, wait, so maybe it's listed in here as Strange Alliance. No, I don't think so. I would prefer it's under Nymph Adaton. But is it a secret? Okay. Okay, well, let's see. I think there are some of these that I already forgot to add. Let me double check to see which ones of these I have just to make sure my Scribe app is up to date. Okay, I'm glad I did this because, let's see. So Forlorn Naos, I'm not sure to pronounce that. This I had in my deck already. I did forget I could do this ability, but we should have this ability in our Scribe app here. And then Argonaut Mausoleum, I actually just totally forgot. I should have gotten this from a previous Inwards Odyssey. This also has another useful ability for us. I'm going to take a peek here. Actually, I'll do this off camera. Okay, I just wanted to check a couple of other secret decks in the app just to see if there's anything else that I should have, and I think I'm caught up now. So now going back to look at what we wanted to look at originally. Structural Nymph Adaton. Yeah, so we could gain 1 Doom and lose 2 Priest to regain a spent summoning charge. Alternatively, we could gain 2 Argo Fate and 2 Doom to regain a spent summoning charge. So priests are a pretty rare resource to come by. Like, how many do we have right now? Just 2. Okay. So I think we are ready to continue on with our day 44. So I think what brought us into this whole chain of events originally was that during our exploration phase, we had gotten an effect that gave us an Inwards Odyssey that triggered the battle. So I think we're technically just coming out of the exploration step now. That was probably one of the most exciting exploration steps we'll ever have. And next we'll go into the expedition phase, and we do have an adventure icon on our tile there. So let's go ahead and bring up our dice rolling screen. I'm gonna adjust something. I adjusted some of these other views to have a better view of the dice rolling tray there, because what I noticed was during the fight there were some like dice rolls that you couldn't really see very well on the camera. So I think now we should have, like, if we put a die in the far corner there, Put dice in the far corner here. Yeah, okay, so we should have full coverage for our dice at this point. But I did not adjust this other view on the adventure cam here, so give me 1 second. All right, that should be a little bit better there. So we are rolling for our adventure hub. What number do we get? We're gonna get a 5. What does that bring us to? Go to our handy table. Story 3, 5 would be uneasy rests the head. Have I done any adventures from this one yet? I have. Okay, so the only one that I haven't done yet is Dreams Laid Bare. I really want Dreams Laid Bare. I don't want to do this one anytime soon. I want to at least get another Argonaut to retire before I do the alpha adventure for this. But okay, we're okay with that. My adventure hubs are really spread around right now, but I don't think I want to risk a reroll on this. So, doing some math, how many adventure hubs do I think I'm going to hit before the end of the game, or the end of this cycle here? We're at 19 right now. We're at day 44, so we're a little over halfway. Maybe I do like 30-ish more days, and I try to target ending the cycle around day 74, 75. So maybe we got like 10 more adventure hubs in us, and if we did that, we could fill up Uneasy Rest Ahead. That would only require 3 more, so we could assume we get 7 more. Then we could either do both. I mean, then we could do like 1 on Dreams Laid Bare, and yeah, okay. I'm just kind of getting an idea for how many adventure hubs I think we'll be able to finish. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to have like, you know, all of these remaining 4 adventure hubs having like partial completion at the end of the cycle. Because the Omega rewards are usually pretty good. Okay. Uneasy Rest Ahead. Let's click on that one. We're going to go to page. Uneasy Rest Ahead. Where are you at? Page 59. Then we're going to make another power roll. Sorry, in the battle mindset still. We're going to make another roll here for our actual adventure. We get a 5. That would be the Hands of Minos. Have we done that one yet? We have not. Let's do that one. Crime. That's what we're looking for. Criminals. Does Fisher have crime? Fisher does not have crime. Please give me something on my Fated Nemo. Oh, come on, Kurt. I want to get rid of this Fated Nemo so bad. It's actually, it's not terrible. It's not the worst, but like, it's just frustrating that I've had this. I haven't been able to get a single note on this yet. Crime. Nope. Okay, so Anacreon does not have it. Crime. Wow, we have a lot of Fate and Curse, though. I mean, Fate especially. Wow. Crime. Crime and Punishment. Oh, yeah, okay, we have one for Oleander here. Ooh, Oleander, you're getting old. You're going to retire soon. So we add that one to Imprisonment. Cool. Hands of Minos, 5 to 6. The Argo cuts through the waves while a gentle breeze whistles between the columns of the Acropolis that crowns the structure. In the warm light of the Cretan sun, you might be forgiven for forgetting about the troubles of the wider world. That momentary silence is shattered in an instant, a dull roar echoing through the Titanic city ship. You glance about and spy a plume of black smoke rising from one of the lower reaches of the vessel. Knowing the risk a fire could pose to the ship, you rush toward the source. Let's pick a priority, or not a priority, a party leader really quickly. Who do we want here? Oleander, Fisher. I just don't really want to make Anacreon the leader because he has a negative to courage, so maybe let's give it to Fisher. Below decks, a cargo hold is in flames. Your stomach lurches as you realize just what the flumes threaten. A cache of ambrosia, dozens of amphorae filled with the flammable liquid already beginning to glow from the heat. If you do not act fast, the entire cache will ignite, and the blaze could take a substantial portion of the Argo with it. The inferno is too fierce for a mortal to endure, but a Titan might be able to survive the inferno, at least for a little while. Or you could try to contain the blast. Then the instructions are choosing between two options. Number 1, if the Argo is sundered, then your entire people will be lost. A Titan is a grievous but acceptable price to pay to protect the city ship. You send one of your Titans in to fight the flames directly. Lose 1 Titan and C62. Option 2, your Titans are too valuable a resource while the Argo is a sturdy vessel. It will take a great deal to compromise the structure, but perhaps you can isolate the damage. You have your Titans reinforced the nearby bulkheads to contain the damage. Lose one hull. Oof. I don't like that. Let's check what we're at with our Argo. So the hull here, we are at 3 out of 5 hull. I would rather not lose a hull. And we're at what, 9 out of 10 Titans? Uh, 8 out of 10 Titans. Ooh, I mean, losing a Titan and going down to 7 Titans isn't terrible. But we also have to be careful because the pursuer is going to be chasing us, and he's going to be shredding through Titans soon. So this is a little scary, but I'm more thinking that our hull could be more of a risk. So we're gonna lose a Titan. This would be definitely dying. Thank you for your service, Titan. C62. The lumbering behemoth ducks its head as it wades into the cargo hold. Flames sear its olive skin and burn the long hair protruding from beneath its anti-Kratos helm. It strikes the thick hull of the Argo once, twice. Cruel flames surround it, and you see it twitch as survival instincts battle with the will of the Argonaut controlling it. It roars, a scared animal trying to get away. Oh, damn, that's dark. Oh, I'm not a good person. Oh, that sucks. A third strike finally pierces the armored hide of the city ship. A powerful stream of seawater flows into the hold, meeting the flames with a hissing sound like the serpents of Medusa. The Titan tries to retreat from the cargo hold, but its wounds prove too severe, and it falls to its knees, struggling to remain upright. You make the only possible decision and order the stricken room sealed. As the Triskelion junction fades, you hear the mournful cry of a Titan suddenly realizing it's about to die. The doorway closes. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry from that. That sucks. Hollow relief flows through you. The ship will endure, but at what cost? You wonder what the Titan thought in those last moments, before realizing that your attention must move elsewhere, uncovering why this happened. Oh my god. My eyes are actually tearing up a little bit. That's dark. Damn. All right. Instructions here are: if Argo Fate is 4 or higher, we're going to gain. If Argo Fate is 4 or higher, or if we have 3 or more strangers. Nice. We don't meet either of those criteria, so we do not gain a Doom. Then we're going to see 64. I need some water really quickly. All right. 64. In the silence following the sealing of the hold, the clamor of battle suddenly erupts. You follow the noise to one of the bays from which the smaller launches are deployed. There, your guards have cornered a small knot of warriors, weapons drawn. As you approach, one of these strangers, a towering, heavily built woman, bares bloody teeth at you. You invade our homeland! You consort with the dynasty's enemies! The usurpers, the Hornsworn, the Simici. We will not allow you to hamper the return of King Minos to his rightful power. If the Minoan guide is with you, you must choose option 1. Okay. So here's the option that we're not going to be able to choose. Option 2 is you do not trust the dynasty, especially one that spawns such fanatical elements as these. It may be wiser to see what information you can glean yourself. You have the captives imprisoned aboard the Argo. Excuse me. That would have given us Hornsworn Diplomacy +1, and then a stranger, and then we would have seen paragraph 66. Alternatively, the option that we have to go with, because we have the Minoan guide with us, Princess Akakalis, return Minos to power. So these are loyal Minoans. It'd be wise to contact the daughters of Minos and have them intercede on your behalf. Surely they can make sense of this. You may also demand reparations. You send these intruders back to Gnosis. So we're going to go with this, and we are going to gain 3 armament resources. Cargo, armament, 1, 2, 3. Then we will, Minoan's Diplomacy +1. Good, 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 good. Let's see, what's our next checkpoint? So if we get 2 more diplomacy with Minoans, then we go from being denounced to just unfriendly. That would be good. I wonder how that would affect our Minoan fleet. Is that the one that I have up top here? Oh, it is. So denounced is lose 1 Titan. Really don't want that at this point. And then unfriendly is just gain an Argo Fate. Okay. Gaining an Argo Fate is pretty tolerable right now. Then see paragraph 65. Okay. Princess Phaedra should be informed of the seditious element rising up under her nose. If this group was able to infiltrate the Argo, then there's no telling what they might accomplish elsewhere. The prisoners are loaded onto a launch, their guards setting a course for Gnosis while you watch them depart. You wonder if the Phaedra will obtain any further intelligence from them, and if she will choose to share it with you. Gain a progress token and a crew. Woo! And then we return to voyage phase. Okay. Gaining a crew. Good day. Good day. And we're going to gain another progress token. It's going to put us to IO 17. That one we will read during the story phase because we unlocked it through progress tokens and not just straight up Argo knowledge. Okay. Nice. That's good. I mean, that was a brutal story, but for the cost of a Titan and my emotional distress, we were able to get a crew. We got a Minoan diplomacy, and we got some armament resources. I don't really care about those. Oh, and we got the progress token. So great. That was a great adventure. As I continue chugging my my water with lemon and honey in it. I think, wasn't honey actually what ambrosia was canonically supposed to be? Like honey was the nectar of the gods, ambrosia was the nectar of the gods, like ambrosia was actually honey. I don't think it's honey in this game, because ambrosia in this game is like a dark tar substance, so maybe it got corrupted somehow. I wonder. Oh, sorry if you can hear me just like swallowing on the camera. I've been trying to be good about pausing, but sometimes it's just annoying to do. So yeah, okay, that was our adventure phase. I'm sorry, that was our expedition step. I have to remember to call them steps. That was our expedition step. We are now on the advancement step. Is there anything we want to do with our technologies here? Let's take a look. Sorry, that's the view that I wanted. Bonuses. Oh, I forgot with rhetoric, I could have been losing strangers by gaining Argo Fate. That would have been useful when I had a ton of strangers. Probably, maybe could have prevented a crew loss that way. But we're okay now. We're not on a city anyway. Oh, do we have a technology that could have prevented that Titan loss? If we do, I'm okay with going back and gaining an Argo. That's probably gaining an Argo Fate and then like testing something to try to avoid it. But actually, that might be a technology we have to unlock. Titan hunting, maybe. Oh, it's different. Okay. I really wish I could do like a Command F for finding this. I'm going to look through my physical cards really quickly. Give me a second. No, I don't think I have one. But I did, when I was going through things, I realized that there's a technology that we'll eventually be able to get that will allow us to increase our Titan hold from a max of 10 to 15. So that would be really good. We might want to, for our next few structural researches, we may want to prioritize getting those Titans instead of like something like advanced trading solutions or even advanced crew expansion. I don't know. There's a lot of important technology that we'd be getting, and let's see. We don't have a structural research coming up for a while because we just had one. All right. Anyway, we'll move on from that step. We're not going to do anything during the advancement step. Oh, I just feel bad. Like I feel like I should be gaining Argo Fate for something. Okay, let's just finish day 44. Finally, we'll go into our story phase where we will read IO 17. Let me go to that page. Okay, 17. United. You have sailed the waters of Crete, and you have faced mighty foes there. You defeated primordials that dethroned the gods. You've tangled with the labyrinth and defied its truth. But of all the triumphs so far, the greatest was this. The Argo as a whole, its community united around a common goal, and the goal itself, a meaning to the endless voyage. The eschaton may have broken the world, but it did not destroy it. And a thing broken can be made whole again, stronger and better than it was before. Not so long ago, this notion might have seemed crazy, or at best idealistic. But you've come so far in such a relatively short amount of time. You've saved people. You've made allies. You've tamed the Titans and harnessed the power of the gods themselves through the wonders of awakenings. True. You've befriended the mighty unknowable nymphs. You've explored the ruins of the past and learned from its mistakes. You've made breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And you felt true doing all these things. It's time to make it official. Oh, nope, I thought that was the old priest about to say that. It's time to make it official, one of you says to the gathered crowd, the crew, the community of the Argo. Some of these people have been with the ship since the days of the Kephallonia. Others had barely enlisted yesterday. It doesn't matter. What matters is that they are here and they are willing to create something together, something larger than each of them individually. The Argo brought us all together on the shores of Crete, but we made the Argo what it is today. A shining beacon of hope and progress. I read some of that like it was in the quote, but not all of it was. We have made a difference in many a life, and we will continue to do so. From this day forward, the Argo's mission statement, if any of you had any doubts, you add cheekily, is this: to help those in need, to enlighten the darkest of places, to stand against injustice and evil, and through all these things, mend the world. The cheers and applause are enough to put a tear in the eye of even the most stoic of your comrades. The old priest stands to the side, his gentle smile reassuring. This is just the beginning. Discard all strangers. Woo! All right. Discard all strangers. Boom, 0. You cannot gain strangers anymore. Gain 1 Sisyphus tier. Oh, this is just, they're just showering us with gifts right now. Boom. Finally, assign the Aegis Bread pattern to any of your current titans. Name this titan. Is this the really good pattern that I thought I was getting before? Oh, it's not. But this one's pretty good. This is, I'll just show this here. Ooh, not gonna get our booster seat, but we had an armor reroll 1. Wow. Neat. Let's throw that on Herodotus. And let me think of a name. How about something like philia? Ancient Greek word for a deep, affectionate love, friendship, brotherly love, representing bonds based on shared interests. Yeah, I think that seems pretty fitting for this moment. Oh, look at how barren my Titan Stoa is. Okay, so let's go Philia. No, not Philip. He's still a Dreamwalker, and it's a trauma pattern. He's gonna get, what was it, Aegis Bread. Cool. Okay, minimize my internet there. That ends that Inwards Odyssey. Wow, okay, so we no longer have to deal with strangers. That's good. Stranger danger is not a thing anymore. Why am I getting beeping noises on my computer? Okay, there we go. All right, let's see, we're at like 47 minutes here. Let's speed things up. Day 44 is done. We're finally going to get out of day 44. And we're going to go into day 45, and we're going to do that by traveling west to, what tile is that? Looks like 43. So we have, I need to show our camera here. Looking for 43. Boom. Still a Hornsworn tile. We'll get our booster seat out. We're gonna have an R&R adventure. That's fun. Any hidden codes? I'm gonna angle this a little bit more towards me. Not seeing anything. Okay. There's no other exploration related symbols here, so let's just go ahead and put this up there. Boom, we'll move our Argo west. Then we'll check our timeline day. Then we will do our exploration cards. 1. Okay, let's draw another. That ends our pile. Next pile is going to be, ends our pile there. So our first one is going to be gain a Titan. Nice. We kind of need that right now. I just feel like, to me, there's a big difference between having 7 and 8 Titans, so that's very welcome. And then friendly effect, we're allied with the Hornsworn, so we get to choose an Argonaut to gain a Rage. Let's have, I would choose Oleander, but I'm slightly worried that, let's see, what he's like, what, 1 node away from retiring? I mean, he could just retire with that Rage. We don't want that. You don't want to go into retirement with Rage. Where was I going here? I wanted to check out the timeline. We don't have a combat coming up for a while, so like honestly, it's probably likely he'll retire before our next combat. So let's give it to somebody else. Let's give it to, let's give it to Anacreon. I think he's just pissed from having this Fated Nemos for so long and not having any nodes for it, so we're gonna reward him with anger. So that can get shuffled back in. And then we'll have Fishing Pier, which will give us 2 trireme resources. That'll get shuffled back in. And then we have Weapons Cache, which will give us 2 armament resources. And then that will activate the adversary. Boom. And he'll go there. All right, and then these all 3 will get shuffled back in. Ah, trying to shuffle on camera. Okay, let's split this a little bit. All right, thoroughly shuffled. Next we have, so it was exploration step. Now we have expedition step. We do have an R&R adventure, so let's just roll our die here and then we'll figure out. It's a 5. Wow, we're just all about the 5s today. Right in the middle. R&R adventures. Where are you at? Here we go. And we need to check out our faded events here. What the heck? It was like zooming up. Ooh, I don't want to. Oh, there were some things down there. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause the recording because I want to look at something. Okay, I was checking what these 2 things were down here for Spiral Secret and Angular Truth, and they are part of this Onwards Odyssey, which is the thing that I was mentioning was the expansion that takes place between cycles 1 and 2, I think, right? I don't think we'll play through that. We'll probably skip that. We'll see. Maybe we'll play through it. I forget everything in it, so maybe there's some useful stuff in there. Let me put that in a way. I don't really need that at all right now. Let me throw that on the floor somewhere. Okay. So our faded nemesis, or faded events for R&R adventures. We rolled a 5. 5 would be feat for the Aeons. I think we already did that one. All right, so we really just need either, we'll say 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a 10 we re-roll. 7. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're going to do Drunken Odyssey. Drunken Odyssey. There you are. Some water for a second. The Argo has been hit by crisis after crisis with no respite, and you have had little time to unwind, let alone really relax. No wonder that, when the possibility arose, a drink became a feast, a feast, a feat, and a feat ended up with you blacking out. You're not proud of it. You wouldn't do it again. But it happened, and you have to deal with it now. You just pray the massive hangover will not escalate into the dreaded two-nighter. Your aging bodies can't take this kind of strain anymore. You somewhat come to terms with the world around noon and even venture... You somewhat come to terms with the world around noon and even venture out for something to eat, which is the best of signs. Hey there, Argonaut! One of the Balinonian philosophers, Onaya, stops you on your way back. Quite the celebration yesterday, right? Their voice rings in your ears like the emergency horn. Quite. Yep. You really want to just get back to your quarters and hole up like the filthy wounded animal you know you are. About that, they don't let you leave. The guards at the Balinonian, the philosopher is clearly embarrassed by all this. Maybe you should be too? Is it something you did? They report you went skinny dipping in the Balinonian, sir. You definitely should feel embarrassed. Did this happen? Maybe. Probably. Yes. I'm terribly sorry. I hope we didn't break anything. It's not... Well, it's... how do I... You lost a Titan. What? To quote the guard quoting you, you took the Titans for a spin. One went missing. We know it's alive because the connection is still there, but the anti-Kratos helm must have been damaged as we can't initiate a junction. We need to find it the old-fashioned way. Do you know where you left it? Choose an Argonaut. You know the one. That Argonaut lost a Titan. Lose one Titan. Come on, we just got a Titan. Nah, I don't want to be losing Titans. All right, who would have done this? What is it? Fisher, Anacreon, Olympia, Oleander. Yeah, we're gonna say it was Anacreon because he's pissed. He still has his faded Nemos, and he's just upset, and so he went on Bender. And so it begins. Oh, and I have to go lose my Titan. Just talking about how I really liked. Well, I mean, it says it's alive, whatever. Lose one Titan. Okay. And so it begins. The Titans that did return had sand on their feet. The coast is vast, though, and you need to narrow it down. You gear up with water and hats that will shade you from the merciless sun, and begin to retrace your steps. Firstly, it's the trade fleet dock, where you stole some Egyptian emissaries' robes. Sadly, they couldn't be recovered. As a side note, that would explain why you ditched them and went all Gaia on the Balinonian. Back to the investigation. You met the emissary in the Old Naus, where you were painting some obscene graffiti on those dour-looking Olympian faces. You still stand by this choice. As some of these wall paintings showed you wearing Titan gear, it was off to the Argo. Argo works next. Here you supposedly posed with a Titan armor. Giant armor, tiny heads. It seemed funny at the time. On a dare from one of Alcibiades' artificers. You met with the artificer on the Acropolis deck, and they told you about the Acleos Cove. Soon you find yourself on the beach, looking for giant footprints. That's not hard. A Titan's foot leaves quite the imprint. One set of tracks leads inland to the nearby forest. With a Titanikinogos team backing you up from a distance to not cramp your style, you venture forth. The footprints start meandering, which puzzles you quite a bit. Titans are usually quite direct. Was it sightseeing? Further down the trail, you find a broken part of the Anti-Kratos home caught up in a branch. This is the reason you couldn't simply junction. You advise caution. Who knows what other functions of the protocols have been deactivated? And then you find it, sitting on a hill. A pair of wild dogs is running around it in circles, wagging their tails. The cumbrous giant tries to follow them with its unseeing gaze and unwieldy hand, but can't keep up. It stops when a flock of birds lands on its outstretched other hand. The giant's head lowers and it tilts slightly, as if it's inspecting them curiously. As they fly away toward the sunset, the giant too looks upward. Are those tears you see flowing from the helm's faceplate? Oh. As you approach, the Titan notices your presence and acknowledges it by turning to you. You know Titans to be wild, violent creatures, but this one is anything but. Even though its rage-allaying helm is malfunctioning, it even leads towards you so you can reach the anti-Kratos systems more easily. Its face, half covered by the helm's plate, doesn't betray much emotion, yet you ascribe emotions to it anyway. Nostalgia, sadness, loss. What were you doing, O Giant One, when we plucked you from nature and forced to fight your battle, our battles? Where would you go if we set you free? Gain one progress token. Name the Titan. The Argonaut who lost the Titan chooses. Option 1. The struggle is far from over, and even if you wanted to, you couldn't do it alone. Without your giant warriors to hold the darkness at bay, you need this one too, even though you will take great care of them from now on. Take the Titan back to the Argo, gain one named Titan. Whenever this Titan gains range over 9, it stays at 9. That's nice, because when you gain range over 9, you just die. Alternatively, there will always be battles and people who need to fight them, but you choose to fight them. The Titans do not. Their service is a necessity, and their mindless, violent nature and aggressive behavior toward humanity an excuse to use them in this way. But you can't in good conscience bring this one back. Leave the Titan in the wild. Subtract 3 Argo Fate and gain 1 Nemos node. Oh, man. Oh, this is such a decision between like the metagaming and what we're gonna actually do. Well, let's gain our progress token. Put that towards our inwards Odyssey. All right. Whoever watches this is, you know, look, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna bring the Titan back. I kind of need that Titan right now. And that, am I really gonna do that? Yeah, I'm gonna bring him back. Oh, all right. Let's see. What do we want to name him? And let's just name him Nostalgia. All right. So we're going to get back one of our, I'm just going to reclaim one of our dead Titans here. Say he's alive. Details. Does not say this. When gaining rage over 9, it stays at 9. Okay. Yeah, from this video, apparently I just do not show much respect for Titans. Hey, but just because we're bringing him back on board doesn't mean we're not respecting him. It's such a interesting story with how we interact with the Titans. Oh, I wasn't even showing this. I'm sorry. Yeah, I reclaimed our dead Titans went back from 16 to 15 because we just took back the Titan we had previously killed off. And we now have our Titan that we named Nostalgia and put a note in here that says when gaining rage over 9, it stays at 9. Okay. Cool. So that's done. Back to that view. And yes, the R&R is done. That was our expedition step. We don't have an encounter for the encounter step. Advancement step, we're not going to do anything. Story, do we have anything on our timeline to do? Oh, I apologize. We need to do a research for combat. Technology, projects. Was it advanced support equipment that is going to get us to Labyrinthoros live study? Yes. Oh, we're also going to need advanced support equipment and smelted gear. How do we get smelted gear? Okay, we're going to need advanced support equipment. Okay, let's do that. What's that going to give us? That'll give us the Morpheus module, the sail camo, and the tackle sheath. I will probably not use any of those, I don't think. Maybe the Morpheus module, maybe that was helpful. I don't remember the other ones being too useful. Let me grab those. Where is, oh, here it is. Get our booster seat out. Here we go, sail camo. Oh, there's sail camo. Start of battle, move up to 3 spaces and hide. I forget what the hide keyword does, but I will look that up for you right now. Hide does, if you are not in front of the primordial, you may activate this ability at the end of your turn to become hidden. If you have the priority target token, pass it to the Titan with the highest rage other than you. As long as you are hidden, you have +1 evasion and +1 precision. You stop being hidden if you move in front of the primordial, gain the priority target token after the second ability window of your attack, or at the end of your next turn. Okay, so yeah, hide could potentially give us like some bonus for one attack, or like get the priority target off of somebody. It's fine, and it's a support. It's not an armor, it's a support, so maybe we consider using that. Oh, Morpheus module is good. We get +1 to will, and then we can ignore the effects of despair, fear, or dread until the end of your turn. And we could also use Solace, which is discard a mind condition card or a despair token from yourself or an adjacent Titan. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then we have Tackle Sheath as the other item. Start a battle, choose one single-handed gear from the Argo Armory and place it under this card. This gear is not considered to be equipped on your Titan and can only be used with the following ability. Spend a fate and exhaust. We declare this item, this equipment, as the active weapon during an attack. Maybe. All right. I'm not going to consider crafting these right now. I'm going to stick these away because I'll do my crafting considerations off cam. We'll put them away for now in our accessories slots over here. Okay. We can leave this up for now. That was our advancement. Then story, we have nothing. Doom, we have nothing. We go on to the next day. Let's see if we can do, I don't know, maybe get through let's get through a couple more days. If we have adventures though, that's where it slows us down. All right, so next day we are going to do, let me do a quick count. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any days here. So let me pause and do a map check. Adding in a quick edit here because when I was pausing the video to do a quick count of the map tiles to make sure that I was on the correct day number based off of the path that I had taken, I didn't actually unpause the video until we were reading the Dream of Pharos later in the day. So a quick recap of what happened during some of that time that we missed there. We had the exploration step. I don't think we really had any notable events come up that we had to resolve for. But then we moved on to the city tile. So we went down south to a tile that we had already explored, but we went down there because it contained the city and we wanted to be able to use some of our technologies to be able to, number one, get a new crew and additionally increased our diplomacy with the Minoans. So we gained 2 Argo Fate during that day for those abilities there. So now I will resume to where we picked up. We are in the middle of decoding a Dream of Pharos event. Okay. So this one says, let's check that off now. This one says Centimanes. Starless night and a calm black sea. The endless hidden staircase and the endless chasm to be. Open, O maw of eternity, open before the seeker. A light in the darkness calls you to port. The light of the Pharos of knowledge and hope. Walk through the city, but do not linger, as dawn brings with it the 0-point cinder. Once more you visit the dreamy library of Alexandria. As you walk around its spacious halls, you admire the stonework. It is intricate, but not uniform. You notice at least 3 distinct architectural styles. One building on top of another. How old is this place? How many generations of scholars have seen it? The scroll you find this time is ancient and full of angular glyphs. It tells of a bronze tribe of the Genganese, who would later be called by another name. They built great cities, simple but monumental, from precisely cut blocks. Excellent mathematicians, they still retained their connection to the Earth Mother, though through the text it implies it was not divine reverence, but rather caretaking. Sustainable is a word that appears more than once, though you're not sure how to interpret it. The record of the people ends abruptly, putting a close on the Bronze Age. Their lasting contribution to the science includes the discovery of the number which they dubbed 0. And then we have one glyph translation for 0. And then we're going to do a Pharaoh's Delve of 13. If we succeed, then we will gain a, what's it called? A Argo Knowledge. If we fail, then we will gain a Doom. So I'm not going to push our luck on this one because we're going to be comfortably getting 20 Argo Knowledge, which is our limit for Cycle 1 anyway. So if we can get this, great. If we can't, not too bad. All right, so I think if I remember correctly, minimum is 1, maximum of 8. Most of them are duplicate numbers, but I guess one number is not duplicated. We're gonna have a 2 to start off. We'll draw another one. We're gonna have a 6. We're now at 8. So the only way that I could fail this one is if I got an 8. Oh man, I actually think I might even just stop here. So what, we're at 17 for our Argo Knowledge. Yeah, and we have a token already on our Inwards Odyssey. Screw it, let's go for one more. 5, okay. So that brings us to 13. That is just enough. So we will get an Argo Knowledge. Cool. Take these, shuffle them back in. Okay, we're gonna give this one a thorough, we're gonna give this one a thorough shuffle this time. All right, put that back. Put these back over here. And all right, we're ready to move on from that. Oh, we can do our Argo Knowledge Inwards Odyssey now. So much reading. See, we're at about an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe we'll do one more day. Hopefully there's no actual adventure hub or something like that. But okay, so we are doing Inwards Odyssey number 18, the final deterrent. With the help of the Argonauts, charting the innumerable decks of the mighty Argo goes faster. Though you wonder, philosophically, if the ship is truly endless, does speed really matter? But there must be an end, right? A final chamber that holds an ultimate secret. One day, an exploration team assigned to the bow finds a spacious hold housing a gargantuan statue of basalt and electrum. The monument is so big it needs to be scaled like a mountain. It dwarfs even the Titans sent in to help with the setting up of the scaffolding. Its ridge nearly scrapes the bulkhead, yet it's not its height but its length that truly defies belief. You could line up 5 triremes in a neat row and the statue would still come out ahead. As the hold is drenched in the darkness, it takes many days to discern what the statue depicts. Muses. All 12 accounted for, and an extra one to spare. Then a breakthrough. The monument is hollow, a wide tunnel spanning most of its length, and at the end a sort of sluice gate, beyond which you find a Gordian knot of intricate mechanisms. This is a single giant machina. Though clearly defunct, its ancient gears ground to a halt countless years ago, its pipes clogged with rust, its purpose unknown. Many academicians visit the site of the 13th Muse and try to guess its function. And then, one day, a lowly engineer who has witnessed the Simiki's fleet in action recognizes a familiar shape and deciphers its purpose. It's a weapon. The hold is shut and visits are restricted. Though the research on the 13th Muse continues unabated, you need to know. All this time, you thought the Argo was an Ark. What if it was a warship? And then we have some instructions to gain 8 armament resources. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're now at 39 armament. Cool. So we just found a giant weapon in the ship. And we close it off. 13th Muse. All right, let us move on to the next day. Let's see, we started this day on day 44. Let's see if we can at least get through day 47, and maybe we'll call it after that. So on the next day, we are going to go west towards, what number would that be? 47. We're going to find number 47 here. Let's get our booster seat up and do a check for codes. Not seeing anything at first glance here. Well, I thought there might have been something in that top right corner, but that's just the artwork itself. No, okay, I don't see anything on here. I think we're okay. But interesting, there's a whole, I can't tell what that is down there. Oh, I think this was referenced in one of the updates for 12 Sins of Heracles, or maybe it was an interview with Marcin, but something talked about, oh yeah, well, you know, it seemed like it would make sense to find a sarcophagus covered in spider webs over on this coast. All right, well, we have an adventure for this one, so we'll do this day and then we'll call it here. But we're gonna put this on our map here, and we're gonna go west towards that, and we're gonna mark that day off on our timeline. Then we are going to do our exploration, draw a card. Ooh, no, I'm gonna flip this deck around. This is the opposite of what I'm used to. We got Maze Storm. We're going to draw another card for that stack. And an adversary activation symbol. That stack ends. And then just this one. So we're going to gain a Doom. We could try to prevent that. But okay, let's see. Would I rather spend? How much Argo Fate do I really want to spend? I think we can get a little free with our spending of Argo Fate, because I think whether we like it or not, we're gonna have a number of battles coming up in the next few days. Because I think we're gonna try to postpone this fight with the Pursuer as much as we can, but I think we're gonna be fighting the Pursuer. I think we're gonna be fighting Temenos. I think we're gonna be fighting, and then we have our timeline battle coming up. So there's gonna be a lot coming up. So let's not be afraid to use our Argo Fate here. We only have 2. So we're going to try to use an Argo Fate to avoid this Doom. And what was the test again? We need to do, let's go to our saves. X is, so 9 minus the number of your current Doom card. So we need to roll 7 or higher. We got a 10, nice. All right, so we avoid that Doom gain. So that is Argo Fate well spent. And then we will also spend an Argo Fate to, I don't think we have to roll anything for this one. I think we can just spend an Argo Fate to reduce the adversary activations by 1. Oh, where was this supposed to be at? I keep forgetting about this Argonaut Mausoleum card. I might need to start doing this, because this is the technology that we added earlier today that I forgot I should have had, but it allows us to spend an Argo Fate to put a, what's it called? An Argonaut's name on the timeline, and we can gain a Nemos node for a chosen Nemos. Unfortunately, we can't use that for the Fated Nemos, for Anacreon. Otherwise, I would love to do that. Right, it doesn't say Fated Nemos as well. No, okay. But you could use that if, like, in the case of Solon, for instance, like, we really want him to retire from a dream you hold rather than Death Follows. So, like, we can use this to try to guide that that retirement in that direction. So we'll need to keep that in mind, but I'm a little nervous of doing that now if we are going to be close to, like, I mean, we're going to be at 4 Argo Fate here, but what is the one that allows us to reduce? Oh, here we go. Pursuer problem. During adversary activation, lower the adversary movement by 1 to a minimum of 0. Okay. So interesting. It's not a save because you're not rolling anything, but I would prefer to group it there. Okay, so then, yeah, so this is fully resolved. That gets removed until the end of the next timeline battle. This one we still need to do the 4 armament resources. Oh, my dog is coming to visit. Oh, hi, Levi. Did you open the door? Come over here. You're a good boy. I'll pause the recording. Oh, he's just staring at me and just being really cute. Okay, he wants me to finish this up. We're going to wrap this up. Levi, hold on. We have an adventure hub to do today, and then we'll be able to close this recording off. So we got our 4 armament resources. That'll get shuffled back in. Then here we're going to gain 4 trireme resources. And we are on a Hornsworn tile, so we don't have to worry about denounced or worse. 4, yeah. Okay. Shuffle these back in. Then we are going to have an adventure. Hopefully it's a short one. But on adventure days, or like these voyage days, I like to try to not end in the middle of a day, just to make it nice and clean. Oh my gosh, I just spilled multiple cards everywhere. Not my day today. Okay, put that back over there. Now we have our adventure. Let's just make a roll here. Let's see what we get. A 4. A 4 would mean we will be on Adventure Hub. Man of Purpose. Did we finish that one? No, I don't think so. Sure, I guess. Like, I just don't want to re-roll and then end up getting dreams laid bare. So yeah, let's just do it. So Man of Purpose is going to put us on page 51. Come on, just give us something to help out with the, what's it called? Faded Nemos. Then we are going to roll for our table here. So Man of Purpose. Let's see. Oh, we can only get 1 of 2. We need to get Forced Perspective or Life of Theseus. So let's say 1 to 5 is Forced Perspective. 6 to 10 is Life of Theseus. That is 1 to 5. That will be Forced Perspective. Select that. We have Family. Ohana. Nothing for Fisher. Nothing for Anacreon. Come on. Oh, that's frustrating. Nothing for Olympia. We have 1 for Oleander. It's for his recessive Nemos, I guess we could call it. That's the only one we have for Family. Okay. Then, yeah, Forced Perspective. 6. Did I check this day on the timeline? Yes, because we just did the Dream of Pharos yesterday. Okay. Petra leads you to a keep nestled in a long, narrow inlet. Petra was a character we met, I think, in the Alpha Adventure Hub for this story. Once it must have been nigh impenetrable and hidden from view by clever engineering, now its decaying facade betrays both its age and a universal truth. Theseus had many such places, says Petra as you disembark from the launch. Some say he found a map of the giant olden builders, others that Daedalus had them all built for him. You look at the crumbling megalithic cut stones arranged in brick bond pattern, inlaid in the cliff itself like a wall within a wall, and you know no human hand built this. Centimanes, muses the party leader, and the thought rings true. You call them olden builders? We should pick a party leader. Let's go with, let's do Olympia. Why not? Petra nods and shows you to the crude stairs cut unevenly into the giant blocks. These stairs were made for people, much later than the stone was laid. The many-handed ones, but not like the monsters, more like us. The ascent to the entrance is long and arduous. Each Argonaut can either move swiftly, but more dangerously by gaining a danger, or take their time ascending the steps, contemplating the grim fate that befell the once mighty architects of this place by gaining a fate. All right. Danger, like honestly, I think one danger is not that bad. So let's gain one danger with Ulyssia, one danger with Philoctera, one danger with Herodotus. Oops. And then I'll gain a fate. No, I'll gain a danger with Solon. Or Anacreon, I should say they're Argonaut names. Okay. There's no one to greet you at the top. The guard posts long abandoned. You cross the threshold. The interior is cool, but the air is moldy with a faint whiff of decay, of rust, of death. You soon find bodies, dozens of bodies, locked in combat. By the glistening bones jutting from the dried up skin, you guess the battle took place several months ago? The dead warriors are wearing dented breastplates adorned with the symbol of the bull, but it's hard to tell if the armor was in poor repair before the wearers fell. The scene leaves Petra distraught. This is not the work of Theseus' followers. It can't be. The back wall of the main room is covered in grooves, a subtle pattern that by now you all know too well. It's been growing there, steadily, either from beneath the stone or from a curious reddish dent in the mosaic. The storage alcoves have been looted, the amphoras broken, nothing of value remains. In the main room, the victors, if there were any, curiously left a Minotaur statue intact. The lean, towering beast looks down at the carnage before it with unseeing, uncaring eyes. What will you tell the crew? All you are left with are suspicions and inklings. We have a few options here to choose from. 3 options. Number 1, it seems simple enough. The Horned Guard stormed the Hornsworn Keep, massacred its defenders, and left with the spoils. Only they would leave the Minotaur statue unbroken. That would result in Hornsworn diplomacy +1. Option 2, there's a deeper, sadder truth here. You do not sneak into a keep like this without the lookouts noticing, yet there are no signs of struggle outside. Without Theseus to follow, the Hornsworn fell to infighting. That leads to Minoan's diplomacy +1. This keep was taken from the inside. That much is certain. There's despair written on the wall, on the far wall, signed by some unfortunate skull. The truth of the labyrinth brought this place low. That would result in Labyrinthian's diplomacy +1. To be totally honest, I have a feeling that this is generic enough that all of these could be true. Yeah, that Minotaur statue seems like who else would leave that intact? Maybe the Labyrinthians wouldn't care about it, but the Hornsworn would likely destroy it. Then, it is also likely that how do you have people just sneaking into this keep? It seems like a relatively easy place to guard, at least from the description of it. So how do you have people sneaking in without notice? And then this keep was taken from the inside. That much is certain. There's despair written on the far wall. 2 and 3 are almost kind of like a little bit of a blend. But let's see, where's our diplomacy at with everybody? Diplomacy. Okay, so I'm not choosing option 1 because I don't really care to gain diplomacy with the Hornsworn. I probably will choose option 2 just because I kind of think there was some infighting here, and also gets me some diplomacy with the Minoans, so let's do it that. We're going to gain 1 diplomacy for the Minoans, then we will see paragraph 28. 28. It's hard to tell the combatants apart, and you have your suspicions why. Many fell to backstabbed blows. Others have not even drawn their weapons, as if the fight took them by utter surprise. Their faces are frozen in righteous anger and the shock of disbelief. There is no deeper hurt than betrayal. The party leader turns to Petra. You once told us about Theseus's lieutenants and how they vied for the respect and his attention. How they were jealous of one another. Yes, but not like this, she whispers. They loved him. He had their bodies and souls, and his body and soul belonged to another. He did not anoint a successor, did he? Petra lowers her head. When you return to the Argo and tell the old priest what has transpired in the keep, he says, Let this be a lesson to us all. Find a common cause, not a common leader. Follow the dream, not the dreamer. Hornsworn diplomacy -2. Okay, well, we can take that. We're still allied with him. It's all right. We're still friends. No harm, no foul. But then we get diplomacy for the Labyrinthians. So overall, we had net neutral, or like no net change in diplomacy, just some like reorganizing of it. Then we're going to gain 1 progress and 1 doom. Let's gain that progress. We're going to put it towards Inwards Odyssey. Then we are, okay, so we're on IO 19 already. Just mark that on our timeline. That'll probably be the last thing that we read today. IO 19. Then, what was the other thing we had to do here? Gain a doom. I think I'm just going to gain that doom. I don't want to go to 5 Argo Fate just for a chance of avoiding it. We'll go to doom 5. And then, let's see. Yeah, we really did blitz through that doom card pretty quickly. I feel like I took a while on the first doom card, and then doom card 2 has gone by quick. So that ends our adventure. Now we are in the encounter step. There's no timeline battle or anything there. So we'll move on to the advancement. There's no research that we have to do. There's no technology breakthroughs. Let's skip down to the story step, and we're going to read IO 19. And I think this will be our last thing for today. IO 19. Black Blood Cryptex. If P8 is marked, gain 1 Argo knowledge and then return to the voyage phase. I know that P8 is not marked, but double check here. Oh boy, let's see if this is working now with the controls. There we go. P8 is not marked, confirmed. Okay. A while back you discovered the Hermesian pursuer did not simply hunt you. It was beckoned to the Argo by a powerful transmitter. In other words, someone called it. You spent many nights trying to unravel the deadly riddle. Who would have wanted it here? Who had the means? Who wanted the Argo destroyed so badly they were willing to go down with the ship just to seal its fate? Since you disabled the transmitter, the person or persons responsible have gone to ground, though your adversary did not relent. Either there was more than one device, or the primordial has permanently caught your scent. This pursuit will end in only one of 2 ways. Either you kill the creature stalking you, or the Argo is doomed. On your orders, a group of scholars has been meeting in secret, poring over battle reports and studying transcripts, trying to find something, anything that can give you an edge over the fearsome monster. One night you were summoned to the last academy. They have found something. A weakness. The non-organic tissue hidden in the ambrosia sac, dubbed the Black Blood Cryptex. Each time this tissue was exposed, the Hermesian pursuer changed its behavior, becoming more aggressive and brutally efficient. It felt threatened. The working hypothesis is this. The primordial biology differs greatly from that of mortals. What we took from the monster's head may simply be a result of mimicry. In reality, this black blood cryptex may house the creature's true cognitive functions. Aim low, Argonauts. You may not get a second chance. the instruction here is during pursuer battles, but not Minotaur battles, you gain an automatic crit chance every time you attack the Blackblood Cryptex. Ooh, okay. So we're gonna have to remember that. Give me 1 second, because I actually have an idea for how we can do this. Since I have all the BP cards, or all the cards in sleeves here, let's put a note on the card itself. I'll just write in Sharpie on the card. That should be good. I'm not actually going to do that. But Blackblood Cryptex, I believe, was a BP3, correct? Yeah, here's the Blackblood Cryptex. Oh, let's get our booster seat out so we can all observe. And this is one where if we crit, we get a chance to read a specific story section, and the pursuer dies. So this, hopefully this can come in handy if we ever have to, well, not if we ever have to, when we do the actual, like the battle at the pursuer's lair. But we'll see. I think we'll also be fighting the pursuer soon as he catches up to us. But yeah, let me make a note on this little sticky tab here. Auto crit chance. Just stick that inside the sleeve here so we can't see it when it is face down. So I wrote on there, kind of hard to see in the light, but yeah. Can't tell from the back. Another edit here. Rather than start this next day or two in a new video, I decided I'm going to actually just extend this current video. Because I think we're going to have a battle coming up soon, whether that's going to end up being a pursuer battle, which we may postpone, and I'll explain that shortly. Maybe a Temenos battle, or at the very least a timeline battle. I didn't want to just post like what could maybe end up being like a 20-minute video when we could end up being in a battle soon. So we're just going to do a little bit more in this video, and jump back over to our let's go to this view here. Excuse me. And so a couple of changes that I made some changes in the loadout, but I'll explain that in the combat section. But there is a little bit of a difference here in some things that I did. I did craft a Morpheus module. So I already went into Scribe here and crafted that and documented the resources accordingly. Additionally, I also added the remainder of our what's it called here? Loot items to our cargo. So some of them it's not really that important to track in Scribe that you have them, like the Eschaton stones, for instance. Like if you physically organize your cards in a way that you know that you have the Eschaton stones, it's fine. But in some cases, some of these crit items or these loot items might be required to craft other items. In which case, Scribe will actually check to see if you already have that other item available when you're trying to craft that new item. But anyway, let's jump into our day 48. Are we on? Yeah, day 48. So we have, like we mentioned, we have one more Temple of the Minotaur that we're trying to hit. It's somewhere a little bit up north of us, but we can't go north from this tile. So we're going to go west and then hopefully be able to go north from there. I don't remember how big this island is, but according to our little map here, it shouldn't be too big. So I think if we go west, we might be able to go north after that. So west, it looks like, is tile number 46. We'll go to tile 46 here. Get our booster seat. And let's check for any hidden map codes. I'm not seeing anything. And yeah, I would imagine we'll have one somewhere in an area, like maybe within a 1 or 2 tile radius of where our Argo currently is. But yeah, I don't see anything here, but I do want to keep an eye out for him because I bet we'll have one more coming up soon. But we do have a progress token symbol down here, so that is nice for helping us get close to finishing out our Inwards Odyssey, actually, because it's what we read 19 earlier. So we are moving west there. That is our movement step. Next, let's check off our day 48 for our timeline step. Bang. All right. Now we'll do our exploration cards. We have Hidden Temple. That's going to end that pile. And we also have Weapons Cache. Okay. So for Hidden Temple, we're going to gain 4 monument resources. Let's do that. Yeah, I think crafting that Morpheus module took a pretty significant hit on our monument resources there. Then we have the option to gain 3 Argo Fate to gain 1 Priest. If I was still at 0 Argo Fate, I would probably do that, but I am not going to take us from 4 Argo Fate to 7. That's not worth it for a Priest to me, like we're not desperate for them, so we are not going to do that. But we do have to think about this Argo activation symbol now. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to allow the Pursuer to come close rather than spending an Argo Fate to reduce it. Oh, and actually one thing I have to check is, give me 1 second. Something I just realized that I've actually been screwing up for this whole campaign, so we'll have to do better at this moving forward, is that I think I should be drawing and resolving a card fully before drawing the next one. That does make it a little bit harder because we're going to have to, we are not going to be able to have all the information, be like, oh, well, on this, like, we know all these cards that we're going to have to resolve, like, do we have, that might inform saves that we want to do. So, yep, apologies on that. I'm going to do that moving forward, though. Okay. But so for this one, so we'll be able to shove this one back in. Then for this other card, we have the Weapons Cache. We are still on a Hornsworn tile, so we don't have to follow the announced instruction. So we're just going to go and gain those 3 armament resources. Cargo, armament, 1, 2, 3. All right, shuffle these back in. Dang, I wish I had caught that earlier. Knowing that we have multiple videos up at this point with the wrong exploration steps being followed, but hey, it's okay. You live and you learn. All right, so we did our exploration step. I don't think we had any expedition symbols on this. We did not. I did forget to add my progress token though, so let's add that to our Inwards Odyssey. I do want to kick over to the next story soon because I am like all these, I don't want to have progress tokens that are going to start going to waste because we've already maxed out our story card 3A with progress tokens, and we're about to max out the Inwards Odyssey overall. So if we don't have a place to put progress tokens, we're going to lose them, and that kind of stinks. So let's try to avoid doing that. But let's see, I don't think we had any other events. Oh, we do have a structural research here, so we don't have any encounters, so we'll skip the encounter step. Then we move on to the advancement step, and we have a structural research there. So let's go ahead and take a look at what projects we can research. Projects. And we have 3 that we can actually research right now. What are these 2 that we're missing? Oh, these are probably tile ones. Okay, yeah. Oh, so we need intelligence gathering for this one. Add the informant network exploration card to the exploration deck. I think the informant network is about gaining either progress tokens or Argo knowledge. I don't think that one gains crew. So I don't think we're really in a rush to get anything for intelligence gathering or deeply embedded spies necessarily, but I think we were maybe interested in getting this Titan hunting one if we go ahead and check back on this one. So yeah, this could allow us to gain Argo Fate for the chance of gaining more Titans. Maybe we want that if we have more battles coming up. Let's see, what about these other ones? First time use negotiation ability. The longer, honestly, the longer it takes for us to get this one, the less value it gives us, because we've already used negotiation technology in a bunch of different cities. I don't know how many more city tiles. Like, let's say I'm gonna visit 4 cities 4 more times during the rest of this campaign. Like, this could potentially allow me to save 4 Argo Fate for the remainder of the campaign. I'm not really that excited about that one. If we got this earlier, it would be great, because then maybe, I don't know, I think we visited like 5 or 6 cities so far, so maybe it would save us like 10 Argo Fate over the course of the cycle if you get it somewhat early, but I'm a little less excited about it now. We've been pretty good with our management of Argo Fate. And then, the one that it leads to, the superior trading solutions. I believe this one is just allowing us a better technology for like negotiating deals for trading for primordial resources when you're on a city tile step. Again, we've been pretty good about like just stockpiling some of our resources. Like, I don't craft a lot of goods, especially because in my second playthrough, I know more about what gear I'm going to want to use, and so I can spend a bit more frugally. So I don't think we care about that one. And then the advanced crew expansion. Okay, this was potentially allowing us to avoid crew loss. I may have wanted to get this one before. I'm not in as much of a rush to get it now because we're at 4 out of 6 crew. That's not too bad. So let's go and let's just get our Titan hunting one. Add that, and that should, yeah, now we have Titan rearing that we could potentially get. And this one we want to get this one eventually because we want our Titan limit to go up to 15. That's handy to have, especially with how many battles we'll be going through in the near future. So cool. All right, we're done with the structural research there. Let's go to our story step. We don't have anything that we want to do there, so then we would go to our doom step. Nothing there. All right, we are complete with day 48. And now we'll move on to day 49. So we can go north here. Yes, we can go north here. We're going to go north to tile 41. Oh, actually, let me just show. It'd be better about switching between some of these camera views here. So yeah, we can go north from our current tile. So we'll do that. We're going to pull out tile 41. There we go, tile 41. And oh, there we have our Temple of the Minotaur. Okay. I wasn't sure if we were going to get this on this day or if we had to go east one, but that's nice. Let's take a second to look for hidden codes because there's a lot of visual noise going down on here at the bottom, so it could be right for a hidden code. But I am not seeing one. Okay. I'd be curious if there'd be one on tile 42. Something to the east there, but we may never end up exploring that tile, so we may never see it. But we have a few things we'll be able to resolve here. So we won't be resolving the Temple of the Minotaur in this video because we have a timeline battle coming up today, and that would come between, that would be before the story step. So in the next, not the next video, because that would be the timeline battle at least, but in a future video, we will be able to resolve this story soon. Yeah, one thing I was just thinking out loud was like, could I mean, for the sake of videos, could I house rule that we just read that story segment before the timeline battle? But I don't think I like that, just because there are some impactful things that can happen during the story, and it might be weird to do some of those steps out of order. They're in an order for a reason, so we're going to follow them, even if it means our video titles are a little wonky. But that's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this one. Oh, and we have a doom symbol here. What, we were at 5 out of 6 doom, right? Ooh, okay. So we might spend an Argo Fate to try to avoid this doom gain, or we might just suck it up and say, we're gonna flip our doom card. Oh man. Well, let me procrastinate that decision while I'm putting this tile down here. Let's see. So we're gonna have a timeline battle. We're gonna have potentially a pursuer battle. Although with the pursuer battle, if it gets close to me within like within one tile, I might add the that battle event for the adversary onto our timeline. Number one, because it would postpone our fight with the pursuer a little bit longer, because when you add that timeline battle, it takes him off the map. And number two is that I don't expect us to win that timeline fight with him on the first try. I want to see that battle, and because I just don't remember it well, and so I want to get a chance to like try it and see how we do against it, but mostly just to get information so that we can prepare for like when we actually want to face it and try to succeed on it. So if we assume that we're going to lose that first timeline battle with him, that's going to lose 4 Titans. I also kind of assume that I'm going to lose my next like engagement with him just from him chasing us. So we kind of reduce our losses of 8 Titans, which would be brutal, down to 4. So that's most likely what we'll end up doing. And so now we're on the exploration step. First I need to check the timeline. So timeline step done, exploration step. Let's just, we're about to have, no, okay. Let's just gain it. Why postpone the inevitable, you know? Let's just be like the Labyrinthians and just accept that this is happening. Doom is coming for us. So we will finally have something to do on our Doom step. That'll be fun. And it'll also mean we have a nice video coming up. Yeah, we have a few videos planned out already. So that'll be fun to do. Okay, so we did our Doom there. Now let's move on to our exploration cards here. We're going to do 1, and we're going to fully resolve it. We're going to do this the correct way from now on. We're getting 3 trireme resources. Oops, that's monument. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. This is where some of the trading might come into, might be handy. Because I'm now building up a lot of resources, and I lost a lot of monument resources from crafting the Morpheus module. When I do the next combat video, I'll explain why I crafted the Morpheus module. But so that's something we might want to keep in mind for the near future, because as I get some of these further technologies unlocked, like I think the order of combat technologies that I want to unlock is going to be next is smelted gear, which has some good equipment in there. Then after that would be the Labyrintharos live study, which also has some good equipment in there. But following that, so in 3 combat technologies, so 1, 2, 3. So on day 57 is when we should be able to craft the Mazimer. That's the thing that I've been kind of like saving up for, getting excited for. So I think around, like after day 57 is when we probably want to start thinking about how do we really plan for killing the pursuer in that timeline battle. Okay, but going back to resolving this, so we have an adversary activation symbol. I am not going to gain a fate to reduce this one. We're just going to let him come one step closer. Now we have, that ends that pile, so we're going to draw a new pile here. And we have weapons cache. This will be gaining 2 armament resources. And we are still on a Hornsworn tile, so we don't have to worry about this negative effect to armament. And then the adversary activation. Yeah, let's go ahead and move him one step closer. And now, would I do that during the advancement step for the timeline battle? Let me go ahead and check that excerpt real quick. 0201. Okay, here we go. From now on, you may add the pursuit's end battle to the timeline 4 days from your current day. If you add the pursuit's end battle to the timeline and the Hermetian pursuer is on the map, remove it. If the pursuit's end battle is on the timeline, you have to fight it. You cannot back out. Okay, so I wonder if that pursuit's end battle, I forget if that's on the timeline. I assume you also can't, like, you kind of ignore adversary activation symbols in that 4-day time span, because it'd be kind of weird if, like, you put it on the timeline and you get enough adversary activation symbols to like reactivate the pursuer when he starts chasing you. And then you end up like fighting him right before you have the timeline battle with him. So I'm going to assume that like basically you just ignore the adversary activation symbols until you have that timeline battle. But maybe I'll look in Discord at some point and double check on that, because like the exploration step, I was doing that wrong this campaign. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't give a requirement for when we need to do that. So let's just go ahead and do that now. 4 days from now would put us on day 53. Pursuits, and let's make sure we remember that this is the battle. All right, and so now if we go back to our map view here, we're going to remove the pursuer from the map because he was 1 tile away from us. He was adjacent to us. So that's exciting. Yeah, we have battles coming up. All right, yeah, keep talking about that, but let's go ahead and shuffle these back in here. Get some more shuffling going. All right. Boom. So exploration phase resolved. It looks like we'll have an expedition to resolve now too before we move on to our timeline battle. So let's go ahead and roll a die, and then we'll just see how we need to check our table 9. Ooh, I think I am going to want to re-roll that because that would be the hub that we're trying to save for later. Yes, that is Dreams Laid Bare. So I'm going to use my technology that would allow me to re-roll the hub die once. 3. That is Man of Purpose. Let's see, where were we at? Adventures. Man of Purpose. And we'll add one there. It looks like we only have Life of Theseus that we can do, so we'll probably just go ahead and not even roll for that. Man of Purpose starts on page 51. Pardon me while I get some water really quickly. Okay. Man of Purpose. Oh no, Life of Theseus. That's what I want. Life of Theseus, which is going to be a deed. Oh, I feel like we probably have a handful of nemesis that have deed on them. Okay, we have a night to remember for Fisher, which is going to allow us to see M010. And we'll unlock her next ability on a night to remember here. Maybe handy for this upcoming battle. And we'll add that to our timeline. Wait, no, is this the right one? Yeah, it is. M010. Cool. Go back to our Argonauts here. So we did Fisher. Now Anacreon has... Come on, man. What? Fate, supernatural, or curse? Does he have... He has fate for all three of his. At some point, I may actually end up putting Anacreon's name on the timeline. So gaining an Argo Fate to put Anacreon's name on the timeline so that we can get like one more Nemos node for a Dream You Hold, just to encourage that one to retire over Death Follows. But I'm pretty high on Argo Fate right now, so I don't really want to do that immediately. But we're about to be losing some Argo Fate. So deed. That's Dream. Oh, all right. We only had one deed. Okay. Back to adventures here. Oh, there's nothing else we really need to do here. But yeah, Life of Theseus. And then we'll only have one more node or fated box on that for us to resolve the Omega adventure. And Life of Theseus. Here we go. You are drawn to a small coastal town where a known poet and philosopher, Heramides of Itanos, is rumored to be creating a Theseus epic. As you enter the tiny bay, you notice an agile war bireme moored at the pier. Windswept, it must have weathered more than a few battles. It does not fly the symbol of the Minoan dynasty, and that means only one thing: the Hornsworn. Which is odd, for this was supposed to be Minoan territory. When you ask about the historian, you are directed to the house on the cliff. As you march up the steep hill, you notice members of the Horned Guard watching you from a distance. One hiding in deep shadow of the abandoned shrine of Helios, another on the roof of a small storehouse. An instruction here: if Minoans are denounced or worse, they send for reinforcements. Gain one Argo Fate. I think we are still denounced with them, aren't we? Oh no, we're just unfriendly. Nice. Okay, so it was totally worth it going to that city tile and increasing our diplomacy with the Minoans. That basically recouped that Argo Fate for us right there. The house tells much about its resident. The bleached ochre walls have been mended many times, yet they are marked with dirt and grime. The path to the entrance has been cleared of weeds, while the greenery around it has grown unimpeded. The bench outside the house looks worn. The sun-soaked resting place of someone near the end of their journey. Consider my words well, old man. Oh, nope, this is not an old woman. I just saw a woman and I was like, I'm just going to take a guess that this is an older person. Consider my words well, old man. A woman in a battered breastplate says, exiting the house. It's us or them. No middle ground anymore. Instruction: if Hornsworn, denounced or worse, they curse your names under their breaths. Are the dead gods listening? Gain one Argo Fate. Nice, so we're avoiding that Argo Fate gain as well. You wait for them to leave, then enter. Heramides of Itanos? An old man in a plain gray robe rises from a papyrus-cluttered desk. Sun and time have left his face a mosaic of crisscrossing canyons. Not long now, he chuckles with a wry smile. Looking for information about Theseus? Which one? Theseus the fallen hero? Liberator of Crete? Or Theseus the firebrand, who left Crete in pieces? We want the truth. Truth? Bah! The truth won't satisfy anyone. Instruction: if the Minoan guide is with you, see 36. Let's go ahead and take a look at 36 really quick. Minoan guide, what do you have to say to us? This man wrote my father's biography. says Akakalis with a cruel smile on her face. And in it, Minos is the scion of Poseidon, born of the waves. You can advocate truth all day, old man, and now that the cat's away. If you have 4 or more Akakalis tally marks, see 41. Otherwise, see 43. We have plenty of Akakalis tally marks. While we've been like, it's odd that we've been able to be so at odds with the Minoans, but also be like in Akakalis's good graces. But we have 9 tally marks from her. So we'll see 41. So there's no truth to the myth? Theseus is? Akakalis smiles wistfully. Maybe there is. Still, the man is gone and the island needs unity. Theseus became a martyr and those are easily used to sow chaos and destruction. I don't want to see Crete torn apart by civil war until the end of time. We need peace, reconciliation. So yeah, I guess in this, the myth that they're referring to is the one about Minos. Yeah, and we know that Minos, or at least one of the things that we learned from a previous hub was that Minos supposedly made a deal with Poseidon. So Minos does at least have ties to Poseidon, and it sounds like they're kind of construed in different ways depending on who was telling that story. But let's see if we can learn some more about Theseus. But for this instruction here, it says make an Akakalis tally mark. Excellent. Let's do that. Now at 10. And then we return to the Life of Theseus adventure in the Man of Purpose hub. Okay, so I think we're going back to where were we at here? Okay, yeah, here we go. Sorry, this is a little bit all over the place. If the old spinner is with you, see 44. The old spinner is not with us. Now we have a choice between 3 options. Option number 1. Theseus' plight was true. He was wronged in life. Let him not be wronged in death. You choose the fallen hero. That would give us Hornsworn Diplomacy +1. Let's show our diplomacy while we're going over this really quickly. Option 2. Theseus might have meant well, but his ill-fated rebellion left Crete in shambles. The people starving and the Horn Guard weakened to the point they can no longer keep the peace, or stop the rising tide of the maze. You choose the Firebrand. That would give us Minoan's Diplomacy +1. Then we have option 3. Sometimes the truth needs to be obscured and sometimes put to light. The choice is the burden and many do not want to carry the weight. You do. Truth is rarely a comfort, but truth is what we seek. And that would give us Labyrinthian's Diplomacy +1, 35. We would see 35 there. Yeah, I mean, I could really go with any of these options. And they would give us some, like, we would still get diplomacy with the faction and we would benefit from that. Metagaming, I would really like to go with just giving the Minoans more diplomacy, but like, I mean, I think that talking with Akakalis, like the thing that that whole sidebar was about, like, you know, there's a lot of stories out there that contain some bits of the truth, and those stories have like different bits of the truth and they're pulling from it. So I think let's actually try to uncover the truth here. Let's try to figure out what is really going on. Let's get past the bull crap, and let's see if we can go with option 3 and figure out what's going on. So it'll give us diplomacy +1 for the Labyrinthians, and we're going to see 35. All right. Tell us the truth, historian, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. There's a glint in the old man's eyes. They will hate me for it, horned and unhorned both. This home will not be my home for long. then there is a new home waiting for you on the Argo, if you have the courage to stand by the truth. He smiles. Very well. Theseus came to Crete to stop the sacrifices, because it was his own people, the Athenians, who were suffering. He couldn't care less for Crete at first. Then he met Ariadne, and everything changed. This whole war was waged for her freedom alone. Yet she died anyway, and Theseus too soon followed. Or was it the other way around? These details are fuzzy. You leave with Heramedes in a tow. Both the Horn Guard and the Hornsworn eye your passage, but do not interfere. Maybe because they also see the reason in your actions. Maybe because they saw 2 Titans arrive at the pier. Who can truly know? Interesting. Hornsworn diplomacy -1 or Minoan's diplomacy -1. Then we would gain a stranger and a progress token. So nice that we get to ignore that stranger gain. And then we had the option of gaining 2 Argo Fate to gain 1 Argo Knowledge. We're absolutely not doing that last instruction, because that 1 progress token I think is going to push us to 20 Argo Knowledge anyway, so we don't need that Argo Knowledge directly. But yeah, now we have the choice of, do we want to lose diplomacy with the Hornsworn or the Minoans? While I'm kind of tempted to do... I don't really want to lose more diplomacy with the Minoans, and I think there's probably going to be times where I can easily recoup some diplomacy with the Hornsworn, so I am going to lose that diplomacy with the Hornsworn, I think. The other thing I was looking at is the map. We've been in a lot of Hornsworn tiles recently, so I think we'll probably start, like if we look at the map, it looks like we're going to be going through, like directly west of us is still Hornsworn, but I'm not showing a great view here. Let's do that. So here would be Hornsworn territory as well. Here is Labyrinthian territory. So I think we're probably going to be maybe getting out of Hornsworn territory, unless the entire, like, almost the entire perimeter of the map looks like it is Hornsworn, with some of these, like this is Minoan, this is Minoan. Some of these are Minoan, so maybe there's some Minoan territory around here as we're getting close to Knossos, or I think it's actually pronounced Knossos. So yeah, I'm okay with losing 1 diplomacy with the Hornsworn. It brings us down to friendly, but I don't want to lose a diplomacy with the Minoans and bring us down to denounced. Then, yeah, we're going to gain a progress token here, which we put towards Inward Odyssey. And we'll make a note to read IO 20 during the story step. IO-20. And then we return to the voyage phase. And with the Adventure Hub complete, that's going to bring us to our timeline battle. So this will probably end up being a fight against level 4 Labyrintharos, because we want to unlock the ability to get, well, we need to get Smelted Gear, but we'll also need to get the Labyrintharos live study soon, and having a level 4 timeline battle is a prereq for that. Let's double check that. Yeah, Labyrintharos live study requires both Smelted Gear and a level 4 battle. So we'll do that with, we'll do that level 4 fight with Labby in the next video. And then from that point, we'll probably be doing a lot of Hecaton fights. And one thing that's nice about kind of going down, I didn't really do this that much in the campaign, in my first campaign, I don't think. I think I was pretty consistent with kind of going back and forth between the primordials. But by doing this, where we're like kind of blitzing one of the primordials a little bit more first, we'll show our evolution chart here. We didn't do it entirely. We got some early on with Hecaton. Okay, yeah, I actually started a lot with Hecaton, so Our next fight with the Hecaton will be a level 3. Okay, I was thinking it was going to be one more level 2 fight with that. So ignore everything I just said. We'll do a level 3 or level 4 battle with Flabby next, and that'll be fun. So with that, I will end this video for real, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.